We've just got off the bus at El Portillo, the gateway to the high volcanic area on Tenerife, and we're walking a short distance up the road to the visitor centre, where we're going to take the path across to La Fortaleza and then down, right down the side of the Orotava Valley, back to the settlement of Los Realcos, and then we'll get the bus back to Puerto de la Cruz from there. We're just at the visitor centre, passing alongside onto the Sendero number 1, which is going to take us all the way to La Fortaleza. This walk's a long one. It's about 9 miles, 14 kilometres, so it's definitely a case of tired legs at the end of it. Pretty soon into our walk, the massive bulk of Teide comes into view. We can see Montaña Blanca on the left hand side there, and Teide towering above it, with all the various lava streams coming down. We're not going too close to there today, but you can't fail to be impressed by that massive bulk of a mountain. Now we can get a better view of the cliff, or the fortress, La Fortaleza. Quite an impressive outcrop here on the northern side of the crater, Las Cañadas, and just to the right in the little V you can see a small white building, which is a little shrine, and that's our route. We're going to head up past there and down the other side into the Orotava Valley. One of the surprising things at the foot of the La Fortaleza cliff is this area of very pale, virtually sand, or pumice, very fine pumice, which is completely flat, absolutely flat as a pancake. There are one or two rocks sticking out of it, but essentially this pale formation is flat. Now, I've seen one guidebook which calls it sedimentary rock, but sedimentary rock implies a water level some way above this, and as we're at 2,000 metres or thereabouts, I think that's unlikely myself, but I can't explain how this comes to be so fine and so flat. The only thing I can think of is that it's basically wind blown into over tens of thousands of years and has just settled itself out of the wind in this way. I really don't know. Any ideas would be most welcome. But anyway, as we come onto the flat area now, we have this best view of all of the La Fortaleza cliffs rising above us now, looking somewhat more formidable than they did a little way ago. This is where we leave the Sendero 1 in the Teide National Park, and we're taking the PRTF 41, which will take us most of the way that we want to go. It says to Playa del Sorocco there, 15.2 kilometres. We certainly won't be doing that, going that far. We might struggle to get a bus back from there. We're still on the edge of La Fortaleza, and we're just starting on this new sendero, which is going to take us down into the Orotava Valley. We're just getting our first glimpses, as it were, over the side of over the lip of the ridge, down towards the sea and down back towards Puerto de la Cruz. Slightly off our path here, because this is the first glimpse, and therefore the highest glimpse, that we're going to get of the Orotava Valley and our destination. So there we go, the entire Orotava Valley. Just over there we can see the observatory. The pine forest covers pretty much all of the upper slopes. Somewhere in there is La Caldera and all of the walks that are so popular in the forest area. Funnily enough, the slope doesn't look much, does it? But when you're actually going up some of those walks, it's pretty steep. And then as we come around this way, we can see down to Puerto de la Cruz. We can see Los Realcos, we can see Santa Ursula, way right up the coast, virtually to Tacoronte and the gap. This is where we leave the main track and turn onto this special footpath here. It's going to be like this, I think, quite a lot of the way now, until we meet another track, and then I think by and large we cross them rather than go along them. So it's a different type of walking, but still very pleasant. And of course we're now in the trees, so the views are a little bit more restricted, but we can still see, for example, through the trees there, the whole of the Orotava Valley. I'm having a rethink really, because as I mentioned earlier, this path goes right down to the beach, El Socorro, and I'm thinking, wow, that's doable really. From El Socorro is there's a good coastal footpath that takes you back to Puerto, and I'm wondering whether we could go for it and do the whole lot and say that we've walked basically from the bottom of Teide, the foothill of Teide, right down to the sea. That would be quite something to say. This is definitely the point of no return now. We can either head back just the way we came to the little junction there and head down to Chanajive, or we continue on down to the beach, which is this way. Again, another change of path, much smaller path again. It's probably going to be like this for a kilometre or two now, but that's okay. It's fairly easy walking on this. Bit of shelter, certainly no wind. No wind at all since we left the top. It's quite breezy up there, but nowhere else. And this is delightful coming through here. So here we have a view of the Orotava Valley. Let's start with Teide. We've come from El Portillo, which is virtually at the foot of Teide, across La Fortaleza, and then onto the ridge, and basically walk right the way down the ridge. And now we can see right across the Orotava Valley. We can see all the farmed areas, all the villages, Aguamansa, Los Realcos, Barroso, Camino de Chasna, all of those. La Orotava is sort of roughly in that direction over there. And then coming down you've got Puerto de la Cruz itself, and we've still got that fabulous view along the coast. We're very much out of the forest now, back in civilization really. You can see cultivated land here, and the step down in front of us. Some of it's cultivated, some of it's not, and obviously houses. It's baking hot. It's so much hotter than it was when we left the starting point at El Portillo. What would it be? Nearly 4 hours ago. Well, we're actually on a road now. It makes a change. We started off for a few hundred metres on the road by El Portillo. We've still got about 5.5 kilometres to go. I don't think we'll be necessarily on this road for too long, but it does make for some slightly easier walking. Another roadside section. Footpath is actually elevated on metal plates here. Hence the noise. Down there we can see a beach anyway. I don't think that's the Playa del Sorocco. I think it's a bit over to the left of our destination, but we will be walking along there a bit later. In fact, where's the Mirador? Can we see the Mirador? No, it must be a bit back our way here. So this is the way it's pointing us, so this is the way we'll go. Let's just look at the views again. Same views really, but well worth seeing. Right up the coast from Rambla, right up, way up to Tacoronte, although it is a bit misty today. Well, we just left the road, which was a relief because it was heading really in the wrong direction. It was heading away from the sea, and when you're trying to get to the beach, that doesn't seem like a good idea. So we're on this Camino now, donkey track, which tells me that we're 3.5 kilometres away from the beach. So it's not going to be quick going at this rate of steepness, but at least we're heading in the right direction. Well, would you believe it, having come all this way, we find that the road is shut. It might not be shut to pedestrians, but there's no point really in going that way because we've got to come back up here anyway. So I think I'm going to call that a done walk. We have reached as far as we can to the Playa del Sorocco. The rest of the journey is covered in another of my walks, John's walks. So this is where I'm going to say goodbye to you and say see you on the next one. Hope you enjoyed it.